back to East Coast DNA. Today's guest, Kristi, is here to speak to us about the Jubilee, which is something I mention all the time on this show, being that it takes place like 10, 15 minutes from my front door. So welcome, Kristi.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
So for people that are not already aware, just by me saying the Jubilee, we're talking about in the Glasgow, Nova Scotia, there's an annual music festival held downtown core at Glasgow Square. And you have a 3-day event coming up. What are the dates for this 2024 event?
It is August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And that would be the long weekend for August.
That's right. Yes. Natal Day weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, because I always think Jubilee being the last weekend in July, but I know it's actually the first long weekend in August. And
yes,
this year
it
just
all just depends where it lands. Yep.
And now I was chatting with you a little bit about this, and being a Pictou County boy myself, I'm quite familiar with the Jubilee. But with the 3 nights, one thing that's a little unique for the Jubilee is you kind of have it's like a different experience every evening.
Yeah.
The Friday evening, and forgive me for generalizing because I know you do your own marketing, you may have a different way of phrasing it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the Friday evening is usually an older demographic, some classic rock maybe. I shouldn't say necessarily an older audience because I'm there alongside my old man usually, so there's definitely a wide range for the demographic, but yeah, more of a classic rock evening. So let's start with that one, and then we'll move into the other nights, because you have your classic rock, your more modern rock, and then you have Sunday that's typically a slower or country night or folk night. So who's your Friday night lineup this year?
So Friday night, we start off with our Battle of the Bands winner. So that was something new to us this year. So we did a Battle of the Bands. We wanted a way to, because the festival is 19 plus, we really wanted a way to engage our youth. So Carlton's Community Bash is one way that we do that. But this year we wanted to introduce, and we have done it before years ago, way prior to my time, a Battle of the Bands. So we did a Battle of the Bands. And so we had a bunch of youth come out and perform for us. And the winner of that was Petra Moriarty. So she's an amazing guitarist, vocalist. So we're very excited to see what she brings to the Jubilee stage. And by being the winner of the Battle of the Bands, she actually opens the whole festival for the Jubilee 2024. And she has the opening slot on Friday night. So that's very exciting. Petra is April Martell. So she'll come on after Petra, and she opens for our co-headliners, the Trews and Trooper, who will both bring a lot of energy to the stage and also appeal to different people too. So that's one thing, as you mentioned, Jubilee tries to have something for everybody in the programming and the lineup. And the cool thing about Jubilee is that a lot of these newcomers like Petra, who got a shot at opening the festival, along with April Martell, who's doing fantastic and amazing things on the music scene, get to share the stage with seasoned artists like Trooper and the Trews, who have been around a long time. So that's one of the cool things about Jubilee, and something that and also homegrown talent. So that's something that we really aim when we're building a lineup.
Yeah, I do know that once again, from being in the county the whole duration of this as a festival, I had some various experience. I was actually a judge for one of the Battle of the Bands years ago.
Awesome.
But I know that for the local talent, in the early days, it was all local, and it grew and grew and grew. And I know there's a lot of different voices out there in the community that you hear every time there's a lineup. But I do notice that the last few years, there's been a lot of effort into balancing that lineup throughout the weekend. So it is nice to see, exactly as you say, people that are just up and comers get the earlier slots, and then they have the opportunity to share with some veterans. And it is nice to see the Trews being an Ontario band these days. I always like to mention that they're actually from Antigonish, so it's nice to see them here. And they've historically played at the Jubilee quite a few times. Yeah, they're
Are
actually
they on all your posters back there?
there's two signed posters mounted on my wall from two previous Jubilee appearances by the Trues.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah.
been in the background on like 90% of the episodes, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great kickoff night. And for anyone that's not familiar with Petra and you're wondering if it's worth going down early in the evening, one, it is. And two, you don't have to take my word for it. She was recently featured on an episode and performed a couple songs just off to my left here. So anybody that wants a nice little experience, they can go and listen to Petra's original tunes in that episode. And on her social media channels, I was also at that Battle of the Bands, so there's a few clips from that as well. So congratulations to Petra.
Yes.
And for the rest of us, what happens after Friday night? We wake up on Saturday, and before we
We
get
wake
into
up
the
on
full lineup, you get the afternoon too.
That's right. So Saturday you are at Carlton's Community Bash, and that is an all ages event. And it formed in honor of the late Carlton Monroe, who was very much into music, very much into community, very much family oriented person. And so the Jubilee created Carlton's Community Bash, which brought all those things together. It's a community event. It's free of charge. It's for families of all ages, and it's music and fun. So all of those Carlton's favorite things and everything he stood for is all combined into Carlton's Community Bash. So there will be lots of activities. I don't have everything right at this moment because we're looking at a couple months in advance or a month and a half in advance, so I can't give it all to you, but we certainly, there will be a food truck on site. There's lots of activities, and I can tell you that our runners up and our other amazingly talented Battle of the Bands winners will be there. There's usually a songwriter circle. There's some other music entertainment. And it's brought to you by Sobeys, who is also about community, family, and all of those things. So it's going to be a great time. So you're going to want to make sure you put it on your calendar because it is a free event and it's something that everybody can enjoy.
And besides being a free event with Sobeys being the sponsor, there's always some little free promo things floating around there too. I've
Oh,
gotten
there
some good
are.
swag.
Yes. And we actually, one of our sponsors this year is Mondu. And Mondu, if you have familiar, if you like gummies and you like sour candies and you like all of those things, they have the Sweet 16 brand. And so you'll find they'll have a presence at both the main festival and also at Carlton's Community Bash with some nice little candy giveaways to satisfy that sweet tooth for you too.
Amazing. And now I am curious before we get into the evening lineup, and we don't have to spend too much time on this because I know it is something that's been brought up in the past, but we and you have
Yeah.
not had this conversation. The all
No.
ages component, it's
Yes.
been removed. And I want to say like since the pandemic, but it's been a couple of years that we've not had the all ages aspect to the
Yes.
main event.
Yes. Yes.
Is that something that has been reviewed in the last couple of years, or is it something
It
that
has
maybe
been. So we found that because our site is a smaller site, it's got some being that we're kind of in an urban center, like we're not out in the middle of a field somewhere.
Yeah.
There are some challenges and logistical, and we do have a limited amount of space, and it wasn't necessarily well utilized. And we did put out a survey, and the overwhelming response was that people wanted a 19 plus festival. So that's what we did. That's always something that reviews. It comes up every year in our talks and everything else. And we do listen to feedback. So, and we do surveys from time to time and that sort of thing. And that does help form discussions and that sort of thing. However, the 19 plus is something that's likely to stay.
Yeah.
But we are looking at other ways of engaging our youth, such as Battle of the Bands, Carlton's Community Bash, which are really focused on growing into a really cool thing so that everybody will want to attend to.
Well, those are definitely additions that I push towards people. Like those are excellent additions to the whole lineup of the weekend. And even though I do realize it's a very nuanced thing, there is a little hope that maybe it will change in the next couple of years. But for anybody watching this that kind of gets what I'm saying, if you want an all ages event, go to the community bash. If like thousands of people show up in the afternoon, the board's going to see that, oh, thousands of people showed up. Maybe we should have an all ages event. So it's up to us now to actually go to the all ages events. If the attendance goes up, there'll be a demand and we'll have more events like that. So take the onus off you guys a little bit and let's get back into what is actually happening on the Saturday night. I know there's a real exciting lineup. Maybe you could start with who's opening for the night.
Yeah, so Saturday is pretty high octane for our rock fans. So you got a little bit alt rock there. So we start off with Life Left. They are from Halifax, and you can find them on Spotify, and they're also on Instagram. And so they've got a really cool sound, and they're up and coming. And they take the stage right before our friend Andre Pettipas and the Giants, who is super awesome. And always full of energy and will get everybody on their feet. And then after them, Alert the Medic makes a return. So we're very excited to have Alert the Medic and Andre Pettipas on the same stage. So that's really exciting. And of course, Alert the Medic opens for Sum 41. And I'm not sure I really need to say anything else there.
No, definitely not.
So, though I will say, and that this is their farewell tour. So we are very excited that we are the only stop in Nova Scotia and we are their last stop in Nova Scotia. So this is the last time they will play in Nova Scotia and it's going to be on the Jubilee stage. So we're really, really pumped about that.
And not to undermine your own festival, for anyone that's really curious, like, well, there's other provinces. If you want to drive New Brunswick, it's that same weekend. So you see them at the Jubilee. You're not going to be able to go to both festivals. Just stay right here. So
That's right.
It's also very exciting for me that is, besides being an Andre Pettipas and the Giants fan, I was also a big fan of Alert the Medic when they were super active. There is some footage from their reunion that they did last year on the YouTube channel for East Coast DNA, but it was also a wish list item for myself to see both of those bands on the same stage. So it was a nice little bonus for me to see you have the range that.
Well, that's it. And that's one of those things, again, where you get somebody like Sum 41 and you have somebody like Andre Pettipas and the Giants and Alert the Medic, who are homegrown Pictou County, and they get to now open for Sum 41. So that's a pretty cool, that's a pretty amazing thing and a once in a lifetime shot on their farewell tour.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's a pretty awesome thing. And that's the stuff that gives us on the board warm fuzzies when we're picking the lineup and going, okay, well, that's really cool. And it's more, and it's not that the fact that they're from here is a bonus, but it's the type of music and it's all great music. And Life Left Band also being on a Saturday night is a real honor and privilege to be playing with Sum 41. So we're very excited to be able to have that opportunity and also bring somebody the caliber of Sum 41 to New Glasgow and to Pictou County is pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, bringing them into Pictou County for their last Nova Scotia date as opposed to like a Halifax or Dartmouth, like where would have you, that it is quite an amazing feat. So congratulations to you and the board.
Yeah, we're super excited.
And now Sunday, I don't believe that you have a Sunday afternoon event, or do you have the blues?
No, the only afternoon event is Saturday, and that's Carlton's Community Bash. Yeah, so Sunday you're recovering from Saturday. So, and then we had overwhelming feedback that people wanted to see another country night. So we are giving that a shot and making a country night. And this is going to be a country experience. So our festival sponsors this year, the Jubilee is presented by Coldstream and Labatt's, and Coldstream's got some cool stuff up their sleeves. So it's going to look a little different when you come in Sunday night as opposed to Friday and Saturday because it's a country experience. And so you'll see a little bit of country. So we're a little bit of rock and roll and a little bit country this year. And so there'll be special drinks that are available that Coldstream's got up their sleeves, and we can't wait to tell you about them. But also, again, we're opening Sunday night with Victor County native Stephen Travis Old, he was MC for Battle of the Bands this year,
Yes.
but he's also a great country artist and he's got some great tunes. And everybody will love him. He's such a great guy too, which makes it even better. We have Dave Sampson, who comes on after Stephen. And then Jojo Mason, who's been doing some awesome things too. He is going to come on after Dave Sampson, and he's got a really cool sound too. And I was saying to Darcy, I'm not a huge country person. I don't in any iota consider myself a country person, but so you have to trust me when I say there is something here for you too. This isn't your grandma's country. So you're going to want to bring out the Daisy Dukes and your hats and your boots and come out and have a good time. And then headlining Sunday is Tennille Arts, and she's from Saskatchewan. She's a young artist, but she's got a really nice sound too, and she's very active over on Instagram. And all of these artists for the weekend can be found on our Spotify. We have a Jube 24 playlist on our Spotify. So all of their songs are there. So you can set the playlist and shuffle it and listen to it up until festival. But I really, really do encourage you, because some of the artists, by format of the Jubilee, being new up and coming artists with seasoned artists, there's going to be some less than others.
Mhm.
So I really suggest you put that playlist on repeat and really get to know the artists that are coming, so that when you get there, you're really excited about it, and you're also being introduced to some talent that you may not be as familiar with.
Yeah, absolutely. When I try to downplay the alcohol consumption a little bit, as I don't drink too much myself, but I do have a sweet tooth, and Coldstream has wicked drinks when they start making their own little specialty drinks. Very excited to see what they're going to be
Yes.
delivering, and listening to the songs in advance. We're going to want to have some people singing along out there. So definitely encourage people to go and listen to the playlist. I'll have a link for it in the description for this episode. And I'll also include a link for tickets. Where can people buy tickets?
So you go to www.thejubilee.ca, and even if you go to thejube.ca, both of them will take you to go get your tickets.
Perfect.
And I will say, on the alcohol note, I will be I handle the marketing, so I'll be doing this later on, but we do have quite a lineup of non-alcoholic options this year.
Okay.
So just stay tuned for that, because we're going to put all those options up there for you. So there's more variety there than what you might have been familiar with in the past. So we will have something for everybody. And of course, we have food trucks. So you're going to want to bring your appetites with you. We have got 3 food trucks this year. So you're going to want to bring that with you too. And lots of things to do on site too.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely going to have those links in the description so people can go out there, get their tickets, and start listening up right now. I definitely am going to be reaching back out to you before the event. I would like to hear a little bit more about some of the things you weren't able to announce yet. And hopefully over the next couple of weeks, we'll feature some of the artists from the lineup. And East Coast DNA will be on site for the Jubilee this year as well. So look forward to lots of coverage from this year's events. And for anyone out there new to East Coast DNA, hit subscribe while you're here, and we'll definitely get you some more coverage in the next few weeks. All right. Thank you for your time, Kristi, and definitely looking forward to this year's event. Congratulations on a wicked lineup, and really excited to see what the on-site event brings.
Awesome. Thanks, Darcy, and thanks for talking to me today.
Not vacant and you're shaking, and the lightning disappears in a split second. All alone, you realize that you were tired. Bring the thunder until we fail. My high school hairdo, all I wanted was a buzz. Last thing was like a cut to high school hairdo. All I wanted was a buzz. Last thing was like a cut to overcast and downcast. Someday they'll notice so dim. definition of a dweeb.